Hello my friends, and welcome to the Drunken Celts gaming channel with me, Baltic. Now today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and verdict on Red Dead Redemption 2. I know I'm well behind the curve on this, but I really didn't want to rush this game, as most reviewers that released their reviews about the time would have had to in order to experience this story. I feel as if you rush these things, you're not going to get the proper feeling, and especially a game like Red Dead Redemption, where the feeling and immersion is everything. It's king when it comes to this game. Now, this game was very divisive when it came out amongst the Drunken Celts. I think so far there's only two of us finished it, and that's me and Neville Bat. I know McGee, Export and Bulby have all tried it, and they kind of fell off early on, within the first 10 hours I think. Most of those boys are still on. And I can see why when you play this game. So first off, I want to talk about the world Rockstar have built. So the graphics in here are nothing short of incredible. Obviously, Rockstar have got the time and the budget to have polished this to a very, very high standard, and they've well exceeded expectations in my mind. Even the whole world looks amazing. It's a huge map, very diverse locales in it, from your snowy mountain peaks to your swampland to your grasslands to your more deserty type areas. And there's also a few surprises that will throw at you along the way. But the immersion in here, the level of detail that Rockstar have brought to this game is simply stunning. Top class, 10 out of 10 for graphics and detail in the world. Also, everything seems very authentic. I mean, you can go into a shop and instead of just your usual, you look at a catalogue, which you can do for shortness, you can actually look about every item in the shop and pick what you want out of it. It's something really special. The reason that they've done all this, as I say, all goes down to the immersion. A lot of people bought this game, I know, being fans of Grand Theft Auto and even fans of the first Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead 2 is a very different beast and adds in, as I say, all these kind of more simulator aspects of... It's basically Cowboy Simulator, that is it. So that's why there's such level of detail in here. As I say, you can get down to things, polishing your guns, brushing your horse, skinning every animal. The amount of diverse wildlife they've got in here really makes the open world feel alive. The weather effects are great. The vistas that you'll see in this game will just take your breath away. As I say, when you go into the towns and cities, it really is breathtaking, and Rockstar have done an amazing job, especially too with the sound design and the voice acting, of course. AAA all the way, absolute brilliant. But you can have the best world, the best graphics, the best sound, the best voice acting, but is the game actual fun to play? And that was a big gripe for a few of the Drunken Celts. And I see where they're coming from. The opening of the game isn't paced the best. I think they throw these tutorials at you unnecessary at the beginning when you're tracking animals and stuff. I'm not spoiling anything here, it's the first 5 minutes of the game. But I feel they could have done that a bit better. But when you realise how long this game is going to take you, I suppose a 2-3 hour intro introduction to the mechanics isn't really nothing on the bigger scale of the thing. So, as I say, I can see why that would put a lot of people off, and I know the controls, a lot of people were moaning about the controls, they're not intuitive enough, but I really think spend a little time with the game, they're no problem at all. In fact, it allows you a level of freedom and things with actions that you don't really get in many other open world games. Now, your interactions with people in the world are key, and Rockstar have always had this, they've always nailed that down brilliantly, and some of the wee side stories and stuff that you'll encounter along the way are really good and funny. The main story itself, I've heard a lot of people absolutely praising this main story. I think it's good. It's certainly filled with a lot of, expected things. You've got the widow turned gunslinger, all sorts of tropes from the westerns, but none of that really bothered you. In fact, it just makes it feel more authentic, really, when you think that's what you've seen in Hollywood all these years. But the main story, I won't spoil anything, it is an epic tale, absolutely epic tale. So you play as Arthur Morgan, and you're part of Dutchie's gang. Okay, so you're a gang of outlaws on the run. The game opens up, as I say, you're on the run in the middle of the snow-peaked mountains, and your community is in a bad way. Now you'll go through all different kind of zones and ups and downs and trials with these people as you go along, and it really does help connect you to the characters. I found a lot of people saying that they think that the story was a masterclass. I actually didn't. I mean, they telegraph all the big twists that are coming are telegraphed well in advance, if you ask me. There's nothing too incredible there, and Rockstar do this thing. They've done it in Red Dead 1, Grand Theft Auto. You're riding your horse, you've got to go from A to B, and the story's told for you as in a conversation all the way along this place, you know. And I mean, yeah, there must be better ways to explain a lot of this stuff rather than that, Rockstar, because it's getting a bit boring now, especially when you're riding so long in this game. And that is one of the biggest gripes I have actually with the game, is the fast travel, or the lack of it. Now the map they give you, as I say, is absolutely huge, and you will, at the beginning, you've got no option but to just travel. And I've seen some missions take you to the very edge of one side and then all the way back down to your camp, which is absolute miles. And I myself at one point was like, nah, I cannot be bothered riding my horse all that fucking way. Now I know there is stagecoaches you can hire, there is the trains that you can jump about in, and later on, as you get into the game, you can upgrade your camp and you can actually fast travel from your camp to certain areas. You cannot fast travel back to the camp, okay? So even with where your bases are placed on the map, if you jump on a train or that, you're only going to get to the nearest town to your thing. So there's quite a bit of traversal involved in just getting from A to B in this game. And as I say, with the way the missions are structured, and your side missions that pop up, it can really take you a good while to get from A to B, and it can get old pretty fast. Another thing I would say is, as I said, the story, it's pretty predictable, I think, anyway, and maybe the ending wasn't up to, it's certainly not as good as the ending of Red Dead 1, I'll put it that way, okay? But story was pretty good, and all the side stories definitely enough to keep you entertained. And as I say, there's absolutely 100 hours there content, at least I'd say, just running about the world. But this is where we get to the kind of key issues here with Red Dead. A lot of people, these controls, this immersion, all these things you need to do really pisses them off, and they can't be bothered with that. They just want to come in and do the action, and I totally understand that. I was there myself with a few missions, and you really need to play this game at its pace. Okay, if you come in and want to go for a gaming session and you're like, right, I want to go and do some missions now, let's get some action rolling, and there is plenty of action throughout the game, plenty of good missions, hundreds of shootouts. The shooting, actually, the mechanics of the shooting, pretty good improvement from Red Dead 1. Obviously they've built on their mechanics. The actual Deadeye is as good as ever. They've actually got some slow down kills that you'll see in it and stuff now. The melee combat's a little bit better. Stealth is certainly improved. None of them I would say are AAA, you know, but definitely that's not been Rockstar's big thing ever anyway, but they've done a great job here. And one in particular mechanic, the quick draw thing in this is much better than the first game, and there's actually good wee side quests that you can get early on in the game where you have to go and, you know, you go and find all these legends of the West and you can actually get their weapons. I spent a good fucking say 10 hours just doing that side quest alone, and I know a few people that played it have skipped these kind of things. I absolutely loved doing all the side quests. In fact, I found them at times rather more enjoyable than the main quest. But as I say, this is the kind of stop-start thing that this game does. If you want to just fire through the main missions, you can do that, but you're going to miss out on so much that the world has to offer. But also, the game just takes it out of your hands and slows you down at so many points in this game. For instance, when you're walking back into your camp, I understand why you can't just ride your horse in and run right through your camp when Rockstar have tried to make this little safe zone. But some of the camps you get later on are absolutely huge, and you're forced to get off your horse and walk around these things. You can't even jog, you've got to walk around these whole camps. And that's great when you're feeling in the zone of the immersion and stuff. But when you are just want to get in and out, maybe get something for your base, whatever, it can become a real annoyance, like really annoying. And as I say, there's a few times in the game where it does this to you in a few different zones. It can be it just wears on you after a while. But I mean, all these are minor things, because what Red Dead Redemption does so well is if you give it that time and actually just sink into the role of Arthur Morgan, or even roleplay your own kind of cowboy in the West, you can find yourself running about this open world for hours on end, doing next to nothing, no story content, just the sheer amount of side challenges, the hunting. Oh my god, the hunting in this game. I must have spent about 25 hours just hunting things in this game, trying to get the perfect pelts off all the animals to craft your different holsters and clothes and stuff that you can do. That is one thing. The customization in this game, there's plenty of outfits to choose from. I didn't like a lot of them. I mean, there was only about 3 or 4 of the actual outfits that I would wear, but you can chop and change things and piece them together. As I say, most of the best stuff, you'll need to go and hunt legendary animals, which is just another thing in the open world that Rockstar have really nailed. As I say, going along this game, if you get into that simulation fact, you can have a great time with this. But you have to be in that mind zone, I think. If you're not in that mind zone, you're just running about, and it does quickly wear on you, going from A to B. Right, I need to go up here to this mission. Oh, I've just done that mission, which is basically talking to somebody for 5 minutes, and then we've got to ride all the way back down to some other part of the map to do the actual mission, which basically always ends up in some kind of shootout. Then after that, I've got to ride all the way back to my camp, right, to get my next mission. If you're doing that without going any distractions in between, it will quickly get old, definitely. You can fling on the cinematic mode and your horse will travel along to your objective where you've got it, and that does help, but at the end of the day you're just sitting watching that then, so there's no easy way around that. And I think I understand why Rockstar have done the fast travel. As I say, this is their whole plan, I think, with this is just Cowboy Simulator. And once you get into that mind zone, you're going to absolutely love this game. There's nothing else like it. There is absolutely nothing else like it. But these minor faults that I have mentioned, with the pacing of the story, for the open world though, I'll say this, for the size of the open world, I've encountered very few glitches, maybe only 1 or 2 in my 200 plus hour time playing with this, which is really rather incredible, and you can see why it's took Rockstar so long to release. And as I say, you can absolutely lose yourself in this world. The story, good, not great. The world, absolutely amazing. Gameplay, great, but possibly flawed in the points of which I've mentioned. The slowing you down, the lack of fast travel, the somewhat, I say average mechanics. It's pretty average, I'd say, shooting wise and stuff. There's certainly games that do it better. But altogether, this was an exceptional experience, one that I don't think you'll get with any other game out there, and it certainly is worth giving it your time if you've got that time to put into it, because this is what this game demands. You could easily go on and say, right, I've got 2-3 hours here, I'm going to get a good wee chunk of this story done. No, you're no. You're going to end up going hunting some stupid daft legendary bear for a pelt, for this armor belt that you want, for a gun holster that you want. And while you're doing that, you're going to get distracted with X amount of wee open world things that happen. Maybe you'll find a stranger encounter. Something just to keep you off that main storyline. And that's why I spent so long in this game, and it's why it took me so long to give my verdict on it. As I say, I really enjoyed it personally. I know for a lot of people it's no their kind of game. It's too much. There's too much simulation. For instance, this taking your food back to the camp and that, I was obsessed with that. Every time I went out and I was coming back to camp, I had to go and hunt my camp some meat, you know, so I'd be taking them in some deer, some turkey, go fishing for a wee while. And some of the side missions, by the way, are some of the best in the game, as I said. You've really, and it will flesh out the characters a lot better. There are good characters in this, don't get me wrong. Some really good ones, but as I say, the main plot twists in that are very, very telegraphed. So I've went on enough, I think, about what I like and dislike about Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know, I'm still in two minds as to whether I like it better than the first one or not. There's certainly a lot of things it does better. And the prologue to this game is very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I would say it's definitely worth a play. And if I know a lot of people out there have gave it 10 out of 10. Perfect, masterpiece and all that. If this was a masterpiece game, 10 out of 10, I don't think as many of us would have been turned off by it. Now, I know certain type of games aren't everybody's type of game, and that's all very good and well. You know what I mean? I love like Hong Kong Massacre, top-down 2D shooter. If you don't like the games, you're not going to like that game no matter how good it is. But I know a lot of the Drunken Celts, we like our open world games. We loved all the Red Dead 1 and stuff, and Red Dead 2 just never grabbed them. It's the slow pacing for the beginning, the kind of that awkward mechanics, things that you've got to learn at the beginning. I never really had bother with that, but I know I can understand why. There's a lot of daft control. You hold this button to do this and stuff going on. But I really think if you scratch underneath the surface of this game and give it, just dedicate a little bit more time to it, get into the feeling of it, that you'll never experience any other game like it. In fact, as open worlds go and things like that, it's right up there with Skyrim for me for an exploration, which is one of my favourite maps ever that I explored in a game. Just you want to go and see what's available out off the beaten path, and Red Dead Redemption certainly does reward you for that exploration. That's another thing is when you're looting, you're going through cabinets. It's you open every drawer individually and pick up every item individually. It's these kind of things that piss people off, and I pure understand it. But see, when you're in the Cowboy Simulator mode and you've already got, you know, when the looting becomes less important, you'll quickly realise the best way to get money in this game is probably loot enemies. So you'll get your platinum watches and stuff that you can sell at fences. But there's far too much to go into each individual thing, so that's why I was only hitting briefly on these points. And as I say, we're 20 minutes in already, just about. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Red Dead Redemption 2, I wouldn't say a masterpiece, but almost. If I was to score it, I would give it 9 out of 10, but the verdict is it's a must play from me. It is a must play. Just be warned though, if maybe the slower type pacing in a game gets to you, if you're not willing to give it that time, because this game demands time and investment, then maybe it isn't for you. Maybe give it a miss. And obviously it sold about 17 million copies, right? And the online mode, something else I didn't really touch on. The online mode is pretty good. I've only played about 10 plus hours in that. As I say, most of my time was in the single player, and the online is just in beta still. But it was pretty good. Seems serviceable, game modes and stuff like that. Basically like another campaign. However, you've got the same things, the long rides from one end to the map to the other. There's still hunting in it. The money is greatly reduced, so I'm waiting to see more about the online to see how it goes. But what I've played of that, I've enjoyed so far, and it's a complete bonus to come along with a campaign like that. And I know many people would be thinking, no, GT Online was so great that that's what they were mainly looking forward to, was the online. But there you go, it's a different kind of game, definitely different pacing. It's not as much madness that you can do in the Wild West as compared to, you know, helicopters and your Ferraris and everything that you can jump about in GTA. But as I say, well worth a play. Not one of the best stories I've ever played in my life, and I can see why it didn't win Game of the Year in many places. But still, when it comes to world building, when it comes to just pure letting you loose in a realised open world cowboy western thing, it's unbeatable, really unbeatable when it comes to that. So as I say, definitely check it out. Let me know your thoughts below. Did you get into it? Did you try it? Have you been put off it? Did you love it? Was it your best game ever? Is it a 10 out of 10? Let us know in the comments below. I've been Baltic. Remember to subscribe, like, all the rest of that shit. Stay safe, happy gaming, and catch you.
You got a damn good shot, mister. Here you go, as promised.
Thanks, friend.
Careful now. Next time I may not hold back.
You talked a big game, friend, but that weren't good at all.
Please, I let you win. You'd throw yourself in the lake if I'd given it my all.
You know, it's one thing to be a lousy shot, but to act like a damn child about it, you're pathetic.
What? You calling me a child?
I'm calling you a baby full with shit to bursting.
Oh, you're gonna get it now.